Hey there, and welcome back to Design for Scientists. Today we'll be talking about figures once again, but this time we'll be talking about vertical bars, aka columns. Why? And the reason is the same as always. We don't want you guys creating slides like this one, or this one, or this one, or this one. Your message will just be much less impactful. Instead, we want you to know that better slides will make you better at your job. So let's jump into the content. Again, we have to talk about the three main pillars of effective data visualization because that's what we're going to be talking today. And these are content, which is your data, effectiveness, which is making it beautiful, and execution, which is making it. And we're going to go through two examples. This is the first one. And I'll tell you straight up why this is bad. The reason is if you have a graph that actually makes it to your presentation, it means that you have something to talk about it, right? And let's pretend here that you want to talk about day 4. Well, as an audience member, I don't even know where to look at. So I'll show you step by step how we should be going by to fix everything in this slide. The first thing is more technical. We shouldn't have a base value. The reason is columns are there for comparison, and it can be misleading if you have a base value. So instead, always have a zero baseline. Something like this. You can even add a thicker line there so it looks nicer and cleaner. Next, this headline is bothering me. You shouldn't be using all caps. Instead, just go for normal handwriting, like this. No bold, no italic. Next, we want to make it more beautiful, right? It's one of the pillars. So just don't go with this awkward column widths. Instead, you have a general rule of thumb. Width of the column equals 2 times of the space between. And it can look like this. It's much better. Now, we shouldn't be labeling or typing anything at an angle. Again, it decreases the readability. We don't want that, so instead just label in a direct and simple way. Like this. At the end of the day, you're going to be there and you can explain that it's day 1, day 2, day 3, and day 4. And at last, for this slide, I think it's one of the most common mistakes is adding random colors for decoration or whatever it is. You shouldn't be using that. You should use colors to highlight if there is a focal point. So let's say that day 4 is the focal point and it should look like this. You see, now it's much cleaner, much nicer, and as an audience member, I know where to look at D4. Look how it used to look like and how it's looking like now. Much better, isn't it? Okay, let's jump to example number 2. Example number 2 is about multi-vertical bars, when you have lots of bars. And this is the example. I just want to make a couple points here. And I think these are very common mistakes too. The first is having these zebra patterns. Sometimes you have awkward and weird textures and stuff. These serve no purpose to your message. Instead, I would recommend just going from lightest to darkest, and it's a good common practice. And it would look like this. And next, I would just change this labeling. When you label directly and you have this many bars, it's just not as effective as it could be. So go for a legend. Using legends instead is nicer. This is how it looked like, and this is how it looks like now. Quick recap, guys. Vertical bars. Never have a base value. Don't use caps, bold, anything like that in the headline. Don't have those awkward widths. Never label at an angle. And don't use colors for decoration. Instead, you just always have a zero baseline. Write just like handwriting for your headlines. Follow this general rule. Width of the column equals 2 times the space in between. Always simplify the labels. Remember, you're going to be there. You can explain what's going on. And the most important thing, use colors when you want to highlight the focal point. And at last, zebra patterns, never more. And avoid labeling directly when you have too many bars. Instead, you just go from lightest to darkest, like I showed you, and use legends. And that's it for today. Thank you for your attention. You can talk to us, contact at designforscientists.com, and you'll find us on Instagram. I'll see you next time. Have a great one.